evening and welcome to IITW Radio. Hello, Jolie, Fort Gates, Mitchell, Jared, everybody else that's listening. Well, tonight we have some news about Fort Gates. Nothing that the county has done yet, but hello, Debbie. Nothing that the county has done yet, but we've got a few things to go over. I kind of got a perv watch that some people, a couple, two or three families have called me about. Some mothers that are concerned, and there's a bus stop over in San Mateo, and there's a guy been hanging out in a white van every other day at least. And hello, Jolie. Anyways, apparently this person is sitting in there watching the school kids, from what I understand. Now, I'm not going to say anybody is guilty of doing anything, but if you keep pulling up there at 7 o'clock in the morning when the kids leave for school and you don't have a child on that bus, you shouldn't be there. So I hope our sheriff's department checks it out. I will be going over and confronting the guy or gal or whoever it is and find out what's going on Monday. So if you're listening, pervert, if you are a pervert, I'm coming for you. There's nothing nastier than a pervert. Hello, Sue, especially when it comes to kids. So if you're in the San Mateo area, watch out for a white van, dark tinted windows that pulls back a little ways off the edge of the road and watches these little kids. So there's no need for that. Especially if the good old boys of Putnam County get a hold of them. And I'm not talking about the good old boys system here. Sue said good evening. Nobody's going to say good evening? They're all busy doing stuff, Sue. Hello, Vicky.
Good evening, everyone.
We didn't have our mics plugged in. Good evening.
Okay, I got the whole staff going. I got to give my, that was Stars in Toledo, Take It to the Breakdown. I love that song. That's who opened up, and closing out tonight will be Struggling With My Demons, Kurt Fortmeyer. I love that song. So I already said hello to Vicky, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. I think if I missed you guys or gals, I'm sorry. The thing is like a ticker tape. I say that every night. I try to get to as many of you as I can, but our regular listeners, I like to take care of you guys and gals. Anyways, let me give my shout outs to my partner in crime, Tammy, over at the Putman Way. She does a kick-butt job of keeping you guys and gals informed. Make sure you go to the Putman Way if you want to catch the latest breaking news that's happening around Putnam County and actually all over the United States. I'm not going to get into political stuff tonight, but give my shout-out to Tammy and Cameron. Let's see. Oh, Marie, my production manager. The Hobbit. Say hello, Hobbit.
Hello, everybody.
And Chris, my IT guy. There's a bunch of them that make this possible. Hell, I couldn't do it. I don't even know. I don't even have a keyboard in front of me anymore. What'd she say? Yes, you did. All right, yeah, and let's see. Annette, Audrey, Mr. Steve, and Cindy Shaw. Okay. Tonight, earlier I found out that First Coast News was going to be over at Fort Gates today. Now, Fort Gates has been shut down for right at 18 months now. You guys and gals that don't know about Fort Gates, it was established back in 1780 as a military outpost right here in Putnam County. And then when the Second Seminole Indian Wars hit, before 1835, the tug was commissioned to haul Civil War soldiers and stuff across the river, and people that, you know, had cows, donkeys, whatever they had. As a matter of fact, two of the old Cypress barges that originally started Fort Gates are still down there. But anyways, the thing has been closed. The landing should have been fixed years ago. Never was fixed. And then ultimately what happened is during Hurricane Irma, because repairs were not done to it, and now this is before our current administration got in here, our past administrations, and even some of our road people that are still on the roads working with DOT still didn't get it done. Even after they had $1.5 million in grants to fix the thing, still didn't get it done. Okay, so the thing is still sitting down. Had the landing had been fixed in the first place, it wouldn't have came through and punctured the barge. But I got a video that First Coast News came down and did today. They had it on the news at 5:30. So if you guys and gals that missed it, we're gonna put it up right now so you can watch it. It's only a minute. Something like that. But Chris is getting ready to pop that joker up there. Here we go. There's Mr. Dale. I love Mr. Dale. If you're listening, Mr. Dell, shout out to you, buddy, because you're going through a hard time putting up with all the crap you're putting up with, and then still trying to keep the thing alive. I mean, this is a piece of history that should not be lost. I've got a book and an article that I'm writing on it.
Ready?
Yeah, you can go ahead anytime, Chris.
Nothing here since Hurricane Irma.
The Fort Gates Ferry has taken folks across the St. Johns River near Willaca to Salt Springs for more than 100 years. And as you heard, it has been out of commission since Hurricane Irma.
A long time. So instead of being able to simply cross the river, travelers now have to drive about 50 miles up into Palatka and around to get to the other side. Alex Ositis is on your side tonight in Putnam County with how this is affecting not only travelers, but also a business as well.
It's only about a mile from this side of the St. Johns River in Putnam County across to Marion County, but it's more than a convenience. It's a way of transportation that's become a way of life, nearly lost.
Business on the ferry is all dried up.
Dale Jones has ferried travelers across the St. Johns River for more than 20 years, but for the last 17 months, since Hurricane Irma, the Fort Gates Ferry hasn't moved.
Because nothing was anchored down, nothing was hurricane strapped or nothing on this landing.
Jones has people call or stop by
Yeah, I got a bunch of people coming in on the 16th.
every day checking to see if the ferry is back in service. Pete Ackerman has family and friends on the other side of the river, but that's not all.
For me, it's kind of like a shortcut, but more so than that, it's just a real kick to take it. The historical value, you can feel it.
The county recently added blocks to the end of the road and some new signs. In the operational agreement between the county and the ferry operator, it falls on Putnam County to make repairs to the dock.
Last October, they said we got the money again. We're going to restore it back to the original plan. They got bids on it again. Nothing's ever been done.
We called and emailed Putnam County officials about the status of the project, but our messages went unreturned. Jones says without the efforts made by the county, there's no hope at repairing the historic 73-year-old barge damaged by the dock crashing into it. So there it sits. This ferry temporarily closed sign will stay up until folks can raise enough money to get the barge as well as the tugboat back in service. In Putnam County, Alex Ositis, First Coast News, on your side.
Alex is one of my favorite reporters up at First Coast News, and my buddy Matt, he's a photographer on that. Matt, you kick some butt, dude. That was some great photography and stuff.
Yeah, it was, but there's a slight correction, Travis, that about it doesn't fall on the county about the barge. It falls on them about the landing.
Right. The county now does not own the barge or the push tug. That is owned by Dale and Dick Jones. Anyways, the barge now and the ferry are getting ready to get up and running again. But that landing not working is going to present a real problem. It's like having a car with no engine in it. It's just not going to go anywhere. Or a car with no tires would probably be a better thing to say. Anyhow, I got to thank St. John's Shipbuilding. They, Mr. Steve over there, is going to work with Fort Gates. I went and talked to him the other day, and we're kind of spearheading this thing over at the Putnam Way and IITW radio for Mr. Jones and trying to help get this thing back up and running. But the St. John's is it's a full-service shipbuilding company and a marine repair company, and they're right here on the other side of the river in Palatka. I guess that's considered Palatka, or south of Palatka.
Yes, it's a little bit. It's a little bit. I don't know. Is that called south of when you pass Walmart towards Fort McCoy?
Yeah, you take 19 out past Walmart, and you go down like you're going to Salt Springs. And you'll see it's down on the left-hand side. This place is huge. It's got 98 acres. And you can see from the picture, they build some massive ships there. I'm not talking about just little dinghies and stuff. These things are huge. That one's, 1, 2, 3 stories? Almost
At
4
least.
stories high.
At least. I feel like a midget.
Right here in our backyard is where these things get built. Hey, how you doing, Doug and Glennis? She said Lee said it's still, yeah, okay, it's still Palatka. Okay. Hello, Bill. Anyhow, the shipbuilding, Mr. Steve and them are over there. They're going to work with Fort Gates. Now, it could cost $25,000 to repair this barge. They could build a new one. We could raise funds for a new one, but it wouldn't be the 100-year-old barge that they've got there now. I think it's 80, close to 100 years. The tug, which is too windy, we have a picture of that somewhere, I believe.
Yes.
The tug was built in 1910 and put in commission in 1918. And it's still the same tug that pushes that barge across the river day in and day out. Well, not for the last 17 months, which sucks. I mean, Dale does not make jack squat off of this thing. The price has been $10 going back and forth across the river since the 70s. And I guarantee he's not making anything with 4,000 passengers going across the river. It is a necessity for some people, like Donna, Miss Donna. She has to give, Doug said, thanks to you, Travis and Tammy and Fort Gates Ferry. Oh, you're very welcome. Miss Donna has her parents live over there across the river. And one of them has Alzheimer's. The other one has a heart condition, I believe. You can correct me, Miss Donna, if I'm wrong, but I think that's the story. Anyways, it only takes her 10 minutes to get there from her house, taking the ferry across. Going back the other way, she's an hour, depending on traffic. So it is a necessity. This thing has rescued people when there were fires over on the other side of the river. And they could not get to 19 to the firefighters. Mr. Dale went over there and pulled them and brought them over to the other side. I mean, there's businesses. Turner Septic uses that. What's the other businesses do we know of?
Oh, there's several.
Brian's.
There's Putnam Well Drilling. There's, Turner Septic. There's just an unlimited list of them. There's a lot of employees that live on the other side of the river that have to use it, and they're going practically bankrupt at home because they can barely afford the gas anymore to get from one place to the other, but there's no jobs.
Oh, well, it brings money back. And when our businesses go and work out of county, and they bring that money back into the county. Okay, I'll do that, Doug. Doug says to contact him later, make sure you get his information and stuff so we can contact him. Anyways, it would be a shame to lose this. Now, this is history. This is, when the Indians sat there and was fighting, Osceola was fighting during the Civil War, during the Second Seminole Indian Wars, before the Civil War, and he was fighting. This barge was used as an escape. Now, it carried soldiers, it carried black people, it carried white people, Chinese, all kinds of stuff. Now, since 1935, when they commissioned it as a tug or a barge, now, of course, the river wasn't that wide at the time, and they had mules and stuff pulling the barge across the river. This is a piece of history, something that is a few hundred years old that we can still go back to, and it's basically still the same way. And the cabins there are cheap. If you guys and gals want to go stay there, I mean, they're starting to get booked up since we've been doing our reporting on it, but the cabins are what? How much a night?
I believe it's $44 or $45 a night for a one-bedroom cabin and $55 a night for a two-bedroom cabin, and they're fully furnished. So all you got to do is bring your fishing pole and kick up your feet, bring some groceries, of course, but full kitchens, full everything.
Yeah, my kids have gone there fishing in the past. We caught catfish and all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, one of my kids, that's where they caught their first fish. And it was a big, it was a good-sized catfish. I'll have to put the picture up one night and let you guys and gals see it. But it's a piece of history, It's not like a statue where you just tear it down because it's not really, to me, they still serve a purpose. Statues do. It's something you can go back and you can teach your kids, whether they were Confederate, whether they were Yankees or they were rebels. Statues are still something. And then, by the way, there were slaveries on both ends. So don't even give me any crap tonight about, Robert E. Lee and all this. I don't even want to hear it. Instead of taking these statues and making them a training tool, people make it bad that we've had the history we had. People should be glad that we've had the history that we've had, because without it, we wouldn't live in the free society we live in today. Progress would not have been made there. It's taken, the Chinese getting incarcerated, the blacks, the Indians. The Indians, they were sitting around here during the Second Seminole Indian Wars, and the soldiers came up and shot them in the head while they were at a campfire. I mean, for God's sake. And then they had to move out west of the Mississippi. That was what the whole Seminole Indian War was about. Well, I'll do an educational thing on that one night, because it's really sad that they come in and kicked my ancestors and the people of this land out and told them, you got to move out, not just out of the county, not out of the state, but you got to move west of the Mississippi as far as we can push you. And then to make matters worse, they bring them back in the Trail of Tears and put them in the Smoky Mountains and stuff. It's nuts. But during the Seminole Indian Wars, when the Indians declared mayhem on the whites and the soldiers and everything else, they burnt all of Palatka down. Well, this barge kept running back in that time, and it kept going through the Civil War, and it has taken and made estuaries. There's groups that have used the barge to make estuaries. For you people that don't know what estuaries are, they're little houses and stuff for fish to live in. They've made estuaries and environments for fish to live on the Lake George, Little Lake George, and all of them down the St. Johns River. It's also got rescue planes taking firefighters across the river, businesses, people who don't want to waste their gas, people that work in Ocala that come here to help businesses out here, and people that work in other counties that leave here to go there. It serves a function. Unlike a statue, this serves a function. We need to save this thing. Matter of fact, we've got a GoFundMe account that we're putting up tonight. We need to raise, what is it, $12,000?
Right at $12,000.
$12,000, because the tug that's sitting there was built in 1910. I'd be lying if I didn't say it needed repairs. Good God Almighty, this thing needs some repairs. But it's still functional. We've got to replace the top and the sides, but we're going to take it back to the original condition that it was first in 1910 when it was built. And it used to be a sailboat. They converted it into a tug. The barge, on the other hand, excuse me, because of the holes that are in it from the landing, and also I'm going to be fair now to the county on this, it does have some weak spots in it because the thing's 100 years old. The bottom needs to be replaced. The picture that we've got up now is the original Cypress barge, which is still there in the water. It sank, of course. It's not going to make it 200 years. That's the original Cypress barge that used to carry people back and forth across the river. And that's cool as all. We still have, that we have these pictures and they've been preserved. The saw in here, I've actually found the saw, and I'm trying to get the guy to donate it back to this cause. This saw blade, if you look in there, Chris, can you swell that up for me, please? It's when you used to have to catch the ferry across, the saw blade, you'll look on the left-hand side of that saw blade. Huh?
It's right-hand side.
Right here.
Yeah, it's on the right-hand side.
Well, it's on the left-hand side of the saw blade. If you're facing it, it's on the left-hand side. There's a big wrench there and had a big ball of steel on the end of it. And what you would do is you will whack this saw blade, and the ferry driver would hear it across the river, and then he would come over and pick up the cars. That's a 50-something shot there. Go ahead and zoom back out on it, Chris. Or slide it over. You'll see the ferry in the picture there. That boat is the name of it is Too Windy. And that's the one we're talking about preserving here and getting back up to original condition. Now, Home Depot has donated a couple gift cards for the motel, or for the wooden stuff to go on it. Now, there's another picture of the barge pulling in. That's the barge we're trying to save. Yeah, it would be easy to go and get another barge or try to get another one donated. I don't mean easy, but a lot easier than what we're attempting to do. What we're attempting to do is to keep an original piece of history there and repair it on both ends, Too Windy and on the barge. Does the barge even have a name?
No.
Should call it Flat Bottom.
Call it No Bottom since the hurricane came through.
Yeah, we need to name it.
Call her Cinder Bottom.
Almost gone.
Yeah.
Well, if we get it up
Not
and
so
running, if we get it up and running, I'm going to get finally put on the back
right?
of it.
I think we all should name it finally. We've had several comments coming in.
Craig wrote in the landing, how much money to repair the landings. Well, that's where it kind of gets complicated, Craig. The county said that it's going to be about $200,000 just for the drawing. But when they originally came in with the drawings in 2012, I believe, and in 2015 and 16, 17, and 18, they made them concrete. And they're concrete floating docks for people to pull up and then go onto the barge.
Travis.
You have the original drawings?
Yes, I have everything you need right there. Not the original, the ones that they're looking at trying to do.
Here's the drawings that they're trying to do now. Okay. $200,000 for this to be done. Now, the engineer's studying and all this has already been done on it, so it shouldn't take that much. And there's other places that I know I can get to do it for a hell of a lot cheaper than that. Here's
But the thing is, that's concrete slabs, and
Yeah.
nobody wants concrete.
Well, it can't go back to concrete, not and be historical.
Correct. We're trying to keep this historical because the whole thing about Fort Gates Ferry, and even the gentleman said it today, Pete, is it's you feel at home. You want to come back. You've only got to be there 5 minutes on that ferry, and it's so peaceful and so relaxing and so beautiful that you can't get enough.
Yeah, Jolie said 10 to cross. Yeah, it is. But the thing with the landing is we don't know how much it's going to cost, Craig. I keep trying to get answers, and nobody will give me answers on how much it's going to cost. Now, the ferry and the barge itself, I've done the pricing. I'm getting involved. We got other people involved with actually doing the work, and I've worked on boats since I was a little kid. Not that I wanted to. My grandfather used to whip my butt if I didn't do it, if I didn't get out and scrub them or help rebuild his boats. I got in trouble, and I'm glad I did because this allows me to be able to go over and help restore this thing. If you guys or gals want to get involved in a good piece of history and help restoring it, even if you can only slap paint on with a brush, we need people to get involved. If you can't donate money, then we need them to get involved. But we need to raise, and this is not that expensive. It sounds like a lot, but $12,000 to get the barge back into good condition, into new condition, and to get the tug in new condition. And then I guess Mr. Dale will probably have a grand opening over there.
Yes, we're planning to have a grand opening.
But he doesn't, and Jolie wrote $10 to cross. $10 is nothing to go across the river, especially when you're going to have to drive an hour and 10 minutes around. My truck only gets 8 miles to the gallon. So at 50 miles, I'm pretty much screwed.
Need a wrench, and he's in.
Oh, hell
right,
yeah.
Bill.
Oh, yeah, Bill.
No, we need all the help we can get.
I've got wrenches. Aaron just joined in.
Hi, Aaron.
Aaron, you need to call me, too. That's Batgirl. For you people that don't know Aaron, she's involved with the Blue Crab Festival.
Yes, they are going to be having that again this year.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they get that table set up out there. There's a group that wants to set up a table out there, Aaron. You need to give me a call because they have a way of helping a lot of people out, and it's free. I think I talked to you about it the other day. Anyways, back on the thing. Hell yeah, Bill, if you can help us with a wrench or slap some paint on or a sand or whatever, we have a lot of work to do. And in the camp, it wouldn't hurt to get people out there and help pressure wash and stuff either. Dale's only one guy, and he doesn't. This man goes in a hole every year trying to keep this piece of history up and going. And they need our help. And he didn't come ask for the help. I've taken the thing over, and it cost me a lot of money to drive around all the time to Marion County and Clay County and all over the place. I offered to help because I love history, and I do not want to see this, nor should you want to see this piece of history just go away. There's no reason for it. We need to save this. But we need to help come up with $12,000. Yeah.
We've had a couple people asking what is Fort Gates Ferry. We had a video that we had that had some images of what Fort Gates Ferry is throughout the years. Did you want to play a little bit of that so these people can understand what Fort Gates Ferry is that we're trying to save? Yeah. There's a GoFundMe link posted pinned to the comments and also in on the website.
I'll give you the quick Reader's Digest version of it. Fort Gates Ferry, it was established in 1780. The ferry itself was established in 1835. Or actually before that, in 1918 is when they commissioned the tug to go across. Officially, they said it was 1935, but in 1918 is when they started hauling passengers across. This ferry has been up and running now since 1910, 1918. It's been up and running, helping people go across the river. It is a ferry that you can still, well, if they get the landing fixed, you'll still be able to take it across the river. Now, the first time you go across it, it's kind of hairy. You don't know if you're going to sink. You don't know if Mr. Dale's going to run over something. But the man is incredible when he drives that barge. He's been driving this particular barge for, what, 20 years
right
now?
at 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, 20 or 21 years. I know ever since I've been up here, and I've been up here for 21 years now. Raymond, how about volunteers for carpenters that care about our history? Hell yeah. Rumor has it BOCC is looking to go back to wood landing and not concrete. That is true, Joan. That's because it needs to go back. And the state, the DEP, the Army Corps engineers, the historical people all say that this barge or this landing needs to go back to the original state. Not the original state. Hell, it probably wouldn't hold up a truck. but the way it was built years ago. Now, there was some discrepancy, and there was some argument from people that, you know, it needs to be concrete. We need to make it modern. Bullcrap. The wooden dock that was there held up since 1918. So there's no reason that wood is not going to work on this thing. It requires some maintenance, but not a lot. Let's see. Who have we had involved in this already?
We've had
Home Depot.
Ryan Manufacturing.
We got Ryan Manufacturing over there. Mark.
West
Mark
Marine.
is a kick-butt guy. Well, West Marine hasn't stepped up to the plate yet. We're
Yeah,
still
they're
waiting
talking.
on them.
Matt Luann from the stand.
Yeah, Matt and Luann from the stand. They have the best produce in Putnam County. They got one place over in East Palatka. They also have, there's a stinking mosquito. Shut that studio door, please. It was nice outside, so I had them open the studio. But could you shut the studio for me? Anyways, Matt and Luann, there's a mosquito buzzing around my face.
Yeah, we've got to leave the doors open though tonight.
Why?
I need it open.
Anyhow, Matt and Luann from the stand donated the rope. They also have rope up there if you guys and gals need rope for your boats, or if you want to tie your kids up or something, I don't know. But they have great rope, a nice rope up there, and it's not that expensive. It's cheaper than going and buying it from some big department store or something. But let's see, we have, who all now? What else do we have left? Oh, my firefighter buddies down there, Paul Kerp and Larry and them. They're going to weld the steel that Mark over there from Ryan Manufacturing and going out toward Hastings donated. So they're going to rebuild the bow of this thing. And Mr. Steve, of course, over at the St. John Shipbuilding, they're getting involved. So that's going to cost us roughly about $6,000 to get that done. Now, that is cheap. So thank you, Mr. Steve, for getting involved, and all the other people that are getting involved. Now we need volunteers, and we need to raise the $12,000 to get the barge completely redone and to get the push boat done. Then we're set. We're up and going. I guarantee you we're going to have fun riding this thing across the river. And if you've never taken your kids, get them off the Xbox. Get them out on this barge and let them go see it. And it's part of the Florida Black Bear Trail as well. So carrying you from over on this side of the river to the other side, every time I've gone by there, I either see deer, black bear, otters. There's all kinds of stuff on the other side of the river. And they have redone the road over there, by the way. Okay, I've already answered that about the wood.
But yeah, I think the video kind of speaks a little bit better, so people can actually see that have never been there.
Yeah, let's look at this video.
Words are only so good, but actually seeing what it's done in history and how much history's on there. When Paul Newman came across, oops, might have to do the next one.
Video was removed by the user.
Oh, it was the other video. It was two videos.
Yeah, there's the GoFundMe account's going to go up here in a minute.
It's already up.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's
okay.
been up the whole show.
If you could only donate $1, there's 70-something thousand residents, 74 or 78. They're kind of confused on the census report. But everybody in Putnam County, or a third of the people, donated $1, just $1. This thing would be up and running.
This would just kind of help people who've never been on Fort Gates Ferry to really understand how much history it really does have. So
I love these old pictures.
That's the original barge.
Yeah, that's the old Cypress barge.
Yep.
There's Mr. Dale with his big old guns on him. Oh, some of the beautiful sunsets you'd ever see in your life there. There's Mr. Dale playing whack-a-mole inside the barge, trying to get it pumped out. That's the condition it's in now, half sank. And that is too windy. That's the old boat that we need to get repaired. I'll talk about this lady in a moment. It's pretty much still the same. The boathouse is a little different. And you can still hang your laundry by the river if you want. I think Mr. Dale let you. Stop that right there, Chris. If you can go back just a second. Okay, this right here in the video, if this landing would have been fixed when it was supposed to years ago, it would not have gone through the barge like it did during a hurricane. Look at the rusted bolts in those pylons. The thing was never brought up to code. And if you look along the edge of the dock wall down there, you'll see where that part is rotted out as well. This is the part that is the county or FDOT needs to take care of. Now, the funds have been there before. It just never gotten taken care of. We're trying to get you guys and gals answers. I want answers. I want to know why the thing was not repaired when it should have been and when monies were sitting there for it. Somebody obviously dropped the ball, whether it's Department of Transportation or it was the county or whoever the hell did it. Somebody did it. Raymond said, I've been across with my bicycle to get to Highway 19 and 17. It's a shortcut.
I got a lot shortcut on a bicycle.
Pauline said we are ecstatic. But if you look at the landing here, this should piss everybody off that something was allowed to get in this condition. And it's not Mr. Dale's fault. I'm going to say that right off the bat.
That's actually where the landing was. The landing's still sitting in the water next to it.
It still looks like that today. This picture was only taken, what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, within the last week, yes.
And the barge is sitting right there. I mean, we can get this barge fixed. We can get the tug backing up. When we can get it all back up to where it originally was in 1935, or running like it was in 1935, but better. But that landing has to be fixed. And there's no reason anybody can tell me that that's $200,000 to do up that damn drawing. Hell, I've got a grandson that can get on there with a Crayola and design that. Look, Paul, there's 6 posts. I have a thing here. I'm going to read this on Friday night. I've got to wait for more answers from the county before I get into this. But they can't tell me that this costs $200,000 to design that dock. Our forefathers designed this dock with no modern equipment, no modern tools. It's been the same way now since 1780. So go ahead and finish with the video.
Well, if you actually look while we're watching the video and the pictures from the 50s and the 80s, you'll see the landing still there, the same landing. It's just the actual, what the ramp's hooked to. So
now this is
Paul Newman, yes.
This is when Paul Newman, the actor, was out there for Nissan. There's Paul out there now. I wonder if he was thinking about barbecue sauce when he was on there.
All right. This is actually in 1982, these pictures. This one I want to believe was either, I want to say it was in the 50s, but I don't remember the exact year.
I found that saw blade. I'm going to get that guy to donate it.
Again, the 50s. I don't believe that was 50s.
There's somebody's knickers.
This picture was taken, I think, in either 1982 or 1983.
The saw blade's gone. Stop it right there, Chris. This woman right here, she flew down from Ohio. Now, this is so cool. That picture in her hand is of her grandmother. And where she's standing at, if you look at the tree line behind her, she got to come down. She used to hear stories of her grandmother and her great-grandmother telling about when they would come down in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, and they would stay at Fort Gate. And they would take the barge across, and they just told her wonderful stories. Her grandmother passed away not long ago, so she wanted to come down and see the part of history where her grandmother had visited. You can see from the landing there, that landing is still in the same exact spot it was back then. She is standing, and it was so cool because I was able to locate the trees in the back and the way the river curves there. She is standing in the exact same spot that her grandmother stood in the 1940s and 50s when she was down here. And she actually did that in several different places. But how cool is that when you can go back to where your grandparents stood and live a little bit of piece of their history of exactly where they stood? There's not very many people can say that, but I thought that was so cool that she could actually do that. Okay, go ahead and roll that footage. There's Paul Newman with his sweater on. I wonder if he was thinking about barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
There's the old landing.
look at the ramp then.
There was an old wooden ramp. It's a metal ramp now.
Yes.
It still looks that same way when you pull into it from the water,
Yep. They've kept everything historical.
except for the landings beat all to hell and back.
That's all there was. Yeah. But I just thought that would help people understand more how much Fort Gates Ferry has, how historical it was, how many years it's been around, how many lives and hearts it's touched. So.
Yeah, Pauline said that's so cool. It said, Pauline said, it's disgusting the way this county has screwed so many things like this. It's horrible. Yeah, I got to agree with you. You know, and it, like I say, I can't blame this group of county officials because they weren't there in 2002. Some of them weren't there in 2015. 16 comes along, it's a little different story. But some of our road and transportation people were in there because their names are all over the stack of 300 pages that I have, that where their names have been signed on the permits and all kinds of stuff, yet the stuff didn't get done. Now, somebody dropped the ball. Should they be fired? No, I think they should make them go out and force them to get it done ASAP. Because I tell you what, we are going to raise the money for this barge and for this tug. And we're going to do that. That barge is going up next Thursday or Friday up to the yard. By next Thursday or Friday, you guys and gals need to help me get this thing up and running. I can't do it by myself. Hell, I'm old. I use this as an excuse, but I have heart medication. You're getting sleepy. You're under my command. Go out and help raise funds for this thing. Hit your local businesses up. Ask them to donate. Hell, every business out there could donate, and there's the GoFundMe account that just went up. Every business out there could donate $50. It would take a lot of businesses to get the $6,000 to help get the barge done. The rest, if I have to go out and get a freaking beaver and cut wood up, I'll do that. We can get that other stuff done. The barge can't get it done. I mean, if we had to take pallet boards and bust them apart, we could rebuild the top of Two Windy. But we can't do it to the barge. I'm not a welder. I don't have the steel. And besides that, you need one hell of a crane to lift that barge out and flip it upside down. The people over at the shipyard there, the shipbuilding, they've got all the stuff over there. They could flip that thing up with one of their smallest cranes.
And they're donating a lot of time and materials. So the cost that they're giving to us is hardly anything because they do have to have the vessel inspected when they're done. Well, so, I mean, there is some cost there. Yeah,
but, I mean, that's cost that I understand.
Right.
And plus they're talking about painting it and getting it back up to good shape. All we want them to do is just fix the bottom of the stinking thing. But if they got to overlay it or whatever, that's a lot of money, a lot of time. But they are professionals over there. Mr. Steve is one kick-ass dude for stepping up to the plate and helping this thing out. He didn't have to, and they are very busy. They've got a huge ship over there they're working on and all kinds of boats. And that's a shipyard in our own backyard. A lot of people don't even know it's there. If you go down to St. John's River, if you look over to the right, if you're heading south, you'll see a huge ship over top of the tree lines. You have to go back in there. It's 95 acres they have. But regardless, we are going to get this thing up there next week. Also, if anybody's got a big boat they want to help push the barge up with,
yes,
or hip up to it, call me up. We need somebody to help get this tug up there. Or the, not the tug, I'm sorry, the barge up there so we can get it out and get started on it. But we're going to have this thing, and we're planning on having it up and running. Let's see, what would be a good date?
Well, our goal has been set pretty much for Fort Gates. Yeah, Fort Gates Ferry's been saying summer. They hadn't said anything further than summer when you look on the Fort Gates Ferry page.
Hell, May's close enough. By May, that's 2 months. We're out of February now. As of tomorrow, we'll be out of February. So we've got.
Imagine you can tell your kids, "Hey, I was part of saving Fort Gates Ferry. I was a part of making history and keeping history alive."
Now, anybody that helps out on this thing and gets down there and works on it, there's going to be a brass plaque made down there with the people's names who got involved with this.
Yes.
What a great legacy to leave your kids. Face it, my grandfather told me something years ago, and it's still true to this day. 50 years from now, who's going to know about you? What's your legacy? Most people cannot even tell you who their great-grandparents were. They can't tell you what they did, what they liked, or any accomplishments they did. I know my great-grandparents because I have books that were passed down from year to year to year. I'm very fortunate they got passed down from generation to generation. But 90-something% of the people in the world, I bet you, cannot tell you who their great-grandparents were or their great-great-great-grandparents or what they did, what they liked to drink, or if they ever helped out with anything that was constructive. I mean, they might have done great things, but they can't tell you. Here's a chance to get your name put on a plaque, especially our businesses, so that 50 years from now, when your kids go down there, they're going to go down, and your great-grandkids, they're going to go down and they're going to see, oh, crap, St. John's Shipbuilding was involved. Matt and Luann over at Satsuma Produce. All these old farts were involved in this, you know. Mr. Mark up at Ryan's, the Bob over at Home Depot. All these people were involved. Man, I bet they were cool as all get out because they preserved this piece of history that would have been lost. You have a mansion over there. Was it a Bronson Mansion?
Yes, they changed it, yes.
Over in Palaca. It's not as old as this barge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything in Putnam County that is as old as Fort Gates.
No, that started in 1780 was the original. You have that in front of you, Travis.
Yeah, it was the Army Training Center. I know the whole history on this thing. Trust me, I've been studying my butt off. Besides that, Mr. Dale gave me one of the pamphlets from over there. No, but I've been studying my butt off on Fort Gates. And originally it was called Fort Gate and Gateway Fish Camp.
Yes, Gateway Fish Camp. Yes.
Gateway Fish Camp. But it's a historical Fort Gates Ferry. And they're open every day. Mr. Dale works every day except for Tuesday. And he will take you butt across the river. They're not open at night. They don't have lights on the thing, but they're open from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So if you got to get across back and forth across the river. But summertime's coming up. For people that live in South Putnam or from East Palaca down, you can take this right across, and then boom, you're at Salt Springs. You're at Glen Springs. You're in Ocala. If you want to take, back in the day, my parents used to take us. They would throw us in the car, and grandparents would, and they would go take us on a Sunday drive. Nobody takes a Sunday drive anymore. Who wants to go see downtown Palaca on a Sunday? Something you see every day. Who wants to go see, you know, the crap of city life? This is someplace you can hop here on a boat with your family, take your kids out. You know, even if they're 16, 17, 18, I'm going to make my 18-year-old son go down there and get his butt off the Xbox and go down there and ride across the river, even though he's been down there 100 times, to see the alligators, to see the manatees that are swimming up through there, to see the black bear, to see otters, all kinds of stuff, turtles, stuff that most people pay good money to go to in zoos. It's right here. It's on the St. John's, and pretty much everything will eat your butt in Florida, including the mosquitoes. But we need to preserve this. And I'm going to try to get off of this thing because we've got a bunch of other stuff that we need to do. Did we find out if the guy that made it through the surgery that got hit in Palaca?
Context.
The guy that got hit on 17 and 207? Well, we don't know yet. I hope he's doing okay. Jolene says, I have some old washer and dryers and other scrap, but have no way to haul it. I would be willing to give the money to Fort Gates to fund it if you can get it. If somebody can go over there and get that with Jolie, where do you live at? Bob's out running around. We could probably get Bob, my buddy Bob that owns Eastside Collision and Towing, to swing by and pick it up. That's a good idea, Jolie. We get people to donate scrap metal. I'm sure they have scrap metal laying around that could donate it to get a fund going. Hell yeah. And then just get the place up there at the scrapyard to hold the money for Mr. Dale. Okay, Hollister. If there's anybody out in Hollister that can pick this stuff up. Let's see. Pauline said, I haven't seen any news on the man. Yeah, I haven't either, and I've been trying to check. I hope the young man is still alive. That's horrible. But anyways, keep those people in your hearts and your prayers. Let's see. We got 15 minutes. What do we got? Oh, right here. One of my things right here.
Fun stories.
Yeah, but anyways, we need to save Fort Gates. I keep jumping back on this, but I'm very passionate about this. I love history. I think it's a crying shame when we have idiots out there tearing down freaking statues and doing all kinds of crap. I mean, it's crap. You don't need to tear down a statue. Use them as a teaching tool. Mr. Dale, you can take your kids down there, and the school should be using this as well. I don't know how Mr. Dale loves kids. I mean, I've seen him with all 900 of his grandkids. He does. Yes.
I don't know how
Six
he keeps
just at the
saying
one
it.
family. I don't even know how he remembers their names, let alone, but he can spit their birthdays and everything out.
He's a good grandfather.
Yeah, and one of his grandsons wants to take over Jacob, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jacob wants to take over on the barge, and he's 12.
12, yes, he'll be 13 this year. And they're actually, the kids are going to be involved in helping redo the boat and the ferry and painting. Yeah.
5 years from now, this kid wants his main goal is to go be like his grandpa and help people go across the river. I mean, how cool is that? History goes on. Not if it's lost, though. God, I hope the county does something about this. If you haven't registered to vote, if you are a convicted felon, now people are on, why do you keep showing that every show? Because it is important. Educate yourselves. Get one of these. It is called a voter's registration form. You can pick one up at the supervisor of elections over on 2509 Krill. You can go online. You can go into DMV. If you are a convicted felon and you have surgery time, except for child molestation or murders, which those people should be kept in jail anyways, you can still register to vote. But if you've been busted for a joint, wrote a bad check, what's some other stuff? Domestic violence by telling your wife that she didn't look good in something and then she beat the hell out of you, you can still get your voting rights back. So make sure you do that. Okay, now that I'm done with that, it's important. People ask me why I do that. When you don't vote, you allow somebody else to get into office that's not going to serve your best interest. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican, get out and vote, but do the research on your, not your party, on your candidate that you think will do it. Too many people want to belong to country clubs. They want to be Democrats or they want to be a Republican. They feel that they have to belong to a club. Why don't you belong to your own ass club and be an independent like I am? If they're a Democrat and I believe in their policies, I'm going to vote for them. If they're a Republican and I believe in their policies, I'm going to vote for them. I'm not going to go vote red or blue. Strictly. I don't give a crap. I vote for what I think is best for myself and my kids and my grandkids and future generations.
I always vote the person, not the party. I do my research.
Yes. Pauline said you can't. She said you can't learn from the past if you hide it. That's true. I watched Planet of the Apes. They didn't even figure out there was a Statue of Liberty until the very end. Dr. Zayas. Blue eyes can talk. Okay. We have a hangry woman goes battery after eatery, runs out of her favorite patty. Now that's a bitch when they run out of your favorite patties.
No, I think that's what she became.
I went to go out and eat at Kentucky Fried Chicken a couple of times, and every time they tell me, "Oh, we don't have any original. You want extra crispy?" No, I don't want extra crispy. A couple of times, we don't have any chicken. Well, why is the drive-through open? Well, we have iced tea and sodas and pot pies. KFC is not KFC without a leg of original with the grease dripping down it. That stuff will help you go to the bathroom, too. KFC owe me money for a free plug there.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
She said, Pauline said, I was kind of upset the county wouldn't let me vote on the, what is that?
Primary. You can't vote
Oh.
in the primaries unless you're in the party in Florida.
Yeah, on the primary, unless you're in the party. And yeah, that's a bunch of crap. Because she refused to take red or blue. I know, they need to change that. Elective. Oh, I see. It was a typo. Don't worry. I make mistakes typing all the time. I'm a writer. I'm one of the worst spellers and punctuators in the world. So don't worry about it. Anyways, this lady, she's like SpongeBob when he ran out of Krabby Patties.
Yeah, she is.
So we have the video. And we're going to put it up. This thing only has 5,000 views. Look at her. Give me my patty. Where's my patty? Oh, hell no, you don't. You ain't got my patty? Give my damn money back. Where's my 20? What's this shit? Oh, I told you. What's the guy on SpongeBob? Squidly. Squidly.
Yes.
Squidward. Oh, hell no. Where's my patty? Oh, where in the hell? Okay, I'm gonna beat the door down. Here we go. Now, you mess with me. Hell, where's my patty at?
They must be better than KFC because I've never seen anybody do that at KFC.
That has got to be
That
one.
is a Jamaican restaurant too.
That has
I know. I'm
to
ready
be
to check that burger out.
one delicious burger. Where's that place at? Do we even know? Let's see who we got to give credit to who that video belongs to as well. Who was it? Associated Press. January 15th. Apparently beef patties are so good at Back Home Jamaica restaurant in the Bronx. That sounds like a good burger. Back Home Jamaica restaurant. Is Jamaica her crazy? What a dumbass. Okay, what else do we have? Some of these we save for Friday night, but I love these. Pilferers pinch poultry from Popeyes after failing to get cash register open. You're kidding me. Please tell me this has a video.
I think that one does, but I cannot say for sure. We'll have to look at it.
No video?
That's a good story, though. You got to read that one.
And it reads, please allow our ad site to buy your... New Orleans police say a man entered. Who is this? Associated Press as well?
Yes.
Who's the author on this so we give him credit?
It's not saying.
Oh, we don't. It's a no saying. Okay, New Orleans police say a man entered the fast food restaurant and tried to swipe some cash but couldn't open the register, so he made off with some fried chicken instead. That is my man there now. You can't get the damn register open, grab a leg. And they told me they were out. NOLA.com, the Times, reports that a man entered in Popeyes in eastern New Orleans. Oh, that explains it. It was a Popeyes, too. They got good red beans and rice. New Orleans on Monday morning and tried to steal money from the register. But police say the register wouldn't budge, so he grabbed some fried chicken and fled. Dumbass, you should have grabbed the register. That's what has the money. If you're going to go to jail, do not snag a chicken leg. Because when you get to jail, you're going to say, what are you in here for? I robbed a Popeyes and stole a chicken leg. You my bitch now. Police arrested 27-year-old Philip Lee a short time later in the area. He's facing charges of simple robbery and simple battery. Magistrate Judge Bryce Collins set his bond at $13,500. Why? For stealing chicken? It was unknown if he's represented by an attorney and would comment on his case. That's just messed up. My brother, next time, do not go in and try to steal a pack of Newports and some Colt 45. Grab the register and run. Do not run in and get chicken.
Or eat first.
They found his butt sitting in an alley, sucking on a bone, I guaranteed. Trudy said, thanks.
It's probably Dale.
Okay, it says, thanks, Dale. Any consultation? We're getting Fort Gates Ferry Road. With all the help you're getting with the Fort Gates Ferry will be bigger and better. Yeah, and also Mr. Dale said no matter what he's put into it out of his pocket, he is not going to change the price on it. It's still going to remain $10. Now, I hope nobody tries to come and rob him because there's no money in his register. By the time he puts fuel in that tug
and does the maintenance,
and he does not have any fried chicken, we might do a cookout down there for him to help raise funds. How cool would that be?
That would be
People
fun.
can come out and cry in sadness because the frickin' landing isn't done. Okay, what else do we have? Because we're running out of time. I know there's some good ones in
We got the
here.
Indiana cop arrests the woman who barked at a police dog.
Oh yeah, is this?
And then the one below it's even funnier.
Is this a Is it? We got a video on it. Oh man, where's the chest cam? Oh my God! Please tell me they don't. Okay, this is from the AP. Lafayette, Indiana. Indiana woman who barked at a police dog attracted the attention of those officers who arrested her on outstanding warrants. Lafayette police officers say were conducting a traffic stop Monday when a 20-year-old Fletcher, who was standing in front of her home, began barking at the police dog, sniffing the stopping car, or sniffed the stopped car. The Journal and Courier reports that officers recognized Fletcher and knew she had 2 outstanding warrants. I'd say you probably need her to take her to Looney House if she's. I wonder if she was trying to piss on their tire. Police say Fletcher. I would have put a noose around her and took her out to the next place where sick 'em, girl, sick 'em. Who the hell barks at a police dog? This thing scared the hell out of me. Police say Fletcher ran inside her house, but officers arrested her and obtained a search warrant. Fletcher remains in jail on warrants for conversion, which is a form of theft, and operating a vehicle without a license. Wait, she was standing in her yard. How'd she get one with? Wonder if she drove into her house. She also faces primary charges in possession of methamphetamine. Oh, that explains it. And paraphernalia.
Yep.
Paraphernalia. They try to get you on a gum wrapper sometimes. After police say they found drugs in her home. How in the hell did she get? It says she was out sniffing a car and then ran into her house.
That would tell me there's something not quite right if she's out sniffing the car.
How in the hell did she get operating a vehicle without a license? Did she run up the driveway and crank it up for 2 seconds and then pull up 3 feet and then jump out and run inside?
Maybe
No.
that's the old warrant.
Yeah, that might have been the old warrant too. Yeah, he's right.
I didn't say that though.
Right.
It says a form of
Words
theft and
have
operating.
meaning.
Or is for conversion, which is equal with theft, and operating a vehicle without a license.
I remember an old professor I had used to say, words have meaning. If you don't say them right, you won't get them right.
If you barking at a damn car, you need to be arrested. Jelly said it was a warrant. I know, I was just making fun of her. That's what I do. Okay, what else do we got? We have.
Read your next 3 and pick. We'll give you the next 3 stories. You pick and choose. That one or the other 2.
Florida officials resign after being fined for licking face
A city manager.
of city manager. Is there a video with it?
I don't believe so. Not on that one because it was a city manager.
A man
Only in Florida.
revived after overdose, steals, crashes a police cruiser. Police chase naked man accused of stealing golf cart, pooping in owner's garage. Oh, hell yeah. Put that one up.
All right, we got our story.
We have a
And the
story.
verdict.
If a guy steals a golf cart and then goes and poops in your garage, was this by the AP as well?
Yep, no video on it though.
Oh, I wouldn't want to see video on some guy with a big man ass crack on there. Let's see. It said, move over Florida, Georgia is on the radar for bizarre news this month. Cobb County Police. Hey, we've had Cobb County in here quite a few times. Cobb County Police were called February 1st after a man was allegedly burglarizing a home while only wearing a T-shirt and socks. What a dumb bastard. According to the warrant obtained by Atlanta TV station WXIA, the accused illegally entered into said victim's home, a complete stranger with no pants on and his genitals clearly
my
visible. The warrant read, with a home alarm system set off. Now, who sets their alarm off? This is why you need to keep your alarm on. A man with his genitals going to come swinging in your bedroom. You don't know what the hell's going on. If he's drunk, he's lost. He might be looking for a man.
Read the next paragraph.
With the home alarm system off, the man allegedly walked past the owner's room while having a gun pointed at him. He went into a child's room where he put on his sweatshirt he found, opened the window to the garage, and pooped on a damn ground. The man then allegedly stole a golf cart from the garage without any pants on, according to the court records. Okay, I got to stop right there. Wait, it's not bad enough that he went into a house and then butt naked, then puts his kid's T-shirt on with his genitals hanging down, and then he's going to take a dump in your garage. Okay, that's bad enough. But then he's going to set his nasty, unwiped ass on your golf cart seat. Now, what are you going to do when you go to pick up your golf cart? Yes, we have the perp in custody here, and he's right here. And there, you might want to bring a roll of paper towels, Bounty, the quicker picker upper, because you got a big doo-doo stain on your seat. Jeez Louise. Okay, that's it for tonight.
Well, we've got one more on the bottom of that. The missing Putnam County man has been found safe.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's
the gentleman that had the medical condition.
Pauline said that's nasty. 3 people on IITWradio.com. The show will be ending in 16 seconds. If you want to listen to another minute or 2 of my nonchalant illness. All right now.
They don't pay me enough.
Yeah.
But yes, Ulysses Cooker.
You're going to need to
was-
kick
or
over right
Coker
now
was
to
found Wednesday afternoon.
Facebook and see it on the Putman Way or IITW radio. And in 3, 2, 1, bye-bye, people over on that site.
Okay, Travis, I know you, and I know you don't want to leave this show without reading the Home Depot story. I just know you because Home Depot is your favorite place in the world.
Not my favorite.
Oh, yes. I just know.
Oh, wow, that's tiny. Who is this
And it's
from?
got a video.
Looks like CBS. That's on Yahoo News.
Yes.
Yahoo Lifestyles.
It's actually KWCH, I believe, is the news media. It's got a video with it.
This was written by Hope.
Schreiber.
Yeah.
Yahoo Lifestyle.
I'm trying to follow it.
He's
Oh, and it has a
messing with
video.
you.
Police
Oh.
were called to I think it says Wichita, Kansas. The way the thing popped down in my screen, it looked like the police were called home to Style Beauty, Kansas Wellness Home Depot after it was popularly cultured. Believed that a man was that was just because the thing fell in front of it. Police were called to Wichita, Kansas Home Depot after it was believed that a man was making a bomb threat in the home improvement store.
They got a video on that one.
Communications recently released the 911 audio in which the caller tells the operator that someone may have made a bomb threat, according to KWCH. We just had a customer here made what may have been a bomb threat, the caller said. He said, somebody told me there's a bomb in here and y'all need to leave the building. He said it 3 times. Staff was alerted to the possible bomb threat after the person overheard the man in the store's restroom. However, authorities learned that the threat was actually a euphemism used by the man. I already know where this is going.
Yeah, we got
who
the
really
video.
had
We got
to
a
use
video.
the bathroom. He had a bomb in his doo-doo pants.
We got a video.
Customer here apparently made what may have been a bomb threat.
KWCH reports a bomb threat at a Home Depot store in Kansas turned out to be a big misunderstanding. Someone at the store in Wichita called 911 after a customer reported they'd overheard the threat in the store's restroom. Police investigated. They say it turns out a guy said, quote, "Y'all need to get out of here because I'm fixing to blow it up. I'll leave it to you to put 2 and 2 together." Talk about taking every threat serious.
Just knew you couldn't help
Well, another witness said they took the remark as a joke. Matt Uris for CBS Local News.
WKCH. That's who that comes to. He said, I'm fixing to blow it up. That must have been one of Cletus's cousins. Can you imagine sitting in the toilet and you're like, oh, I'm going to blow this thing up. Oh, here comes Taco Hell. And all of a sudden the cops kick on the door. Where's the bomb?
Where's the evidence? Yeah, where's the evidence? I flushed it.
I'm not sure you want to touch
Yeah,
it.
he flushed the evidence.
Yeah, where's it at? I flushed cherry bombs down the school bathroom when I was in middle school.
It's a chemical bomb.
Yeah, it's a chemical bomb. Have been nuked. Can you imagine? You're sitting there grunting, trying to push one of those ones out. You know,
Like the bomb squad comes in.
well, I mean, we had to talk about turds a couple times, and I'll just say this real quick. And my staff hates when I do this. Skidmore, you might enjoy this. Why do some turds float
Oh, good Lord.
and some sink? I can't understand that. You look down there, you flush the toilet, and there's always one little round peanut that's sitting there doing this stuff, and it will not go down. You guys know I'm telling the truth here, because we've all had it happen to us. There's not one person around that hasn't had a floater at one time or another. And if you're at a friend's house, it's really embarrassing. Or say you're dating somebody, and all of a sudden you look down, oh, damn, I got a double flush. They're going to think I was really loaded. So you hit the toilet again, and the damn thing, it catches in the current, and it's still there. So you try to take some toilet paper off and throw it on top of the damn thing, and somehow that one little brown turd will escape and pop up on top of the toilet paper. Then you're into 3 or 4 flushes. Skidmore said, Lord have mercy. And then comes the part when you go to the bathroom, and sometimes you'll wipe your butt. And I know this is way off key. This is some Friday night crap. No pun intended. But you wipe your butt, and you'll pull the toilet paper back. It'll come out. I got a napkin here I can illustrate. And all of a sudden, there's nothing on it. But you look down in the stool, in the bowl there, and it's full. But that last one seems to have cleaned everything up. Now, how in the hell can you have a clean turd? It don't make any sense to me. So you wipe again and wipe again like your dumb ass self going, well, it's got to be something back there. Couple wipes. Well, I'll be damned. Had a clean turd. And then sometimes it's just all hell breaks loose. The thing's like a melted Crayola, and it takes months to get that thing out. Matter of fact, it ain't even coming out. You got to jump in the shower and hope to God you got one of those shower heads so you can shove it up there. Yeah, I have
Again,
no
they don't
filters.
pay me enough.
I think we better end the show now.
Like Skidmore's comment, I'm with her.
What did you say? Laugh out loud.
You're
a nut. I'm not going to get into nuts. I didn't say there was anything in there. But why does some food break down and some doesn't?
Oh, Lord. You see, you got it started, girl.
No, okay. Now, I'm serious. I never eaten a gummy bear in my life, right? And I don't like these little,
You got him going.
These little gooey things that'll pull your fillings out that you've had in since you were 6 years old. I've had that happen with taffy before. Well, the grandkids give me these damn gummy bears. So I start chewing on one. It's like, ah, man, this thing's going to pull my freaking teeth out. So I swallow it. Hand to God. Next day, I go to the bathroom. I look down, and there's 2 gummy bear heads looking right at me. If you don't think that'll freak your butt out, at 5 o'clock in the morning, look down in the toilet, and there's a turd, and there's 2 gummy bear heads looking up at you. It's like, I have been violated. I need a shower. It's just a chemical additives. Pauline did. Okay, well, I'm going to get out of here because now that I've totally embarrassed everybody, I think we have one listener now.
They all went away.
They'll never come back. But for you people that are still listening,
they're either tuning in saying, what is he going to say next? Or they're saying, good Lord, I'm out of here. So.
The sad thing is that the people are still listening. These are my peoples.
My peoples.
They understand me. We have communication skills.
That's messed up.
We love you guys. Thank you for listening to the show tonight. And as always, to all the listeners, if I didn't get to your comments, what does the other one say? We'll let Pauline close it out. Gummy bears are made of animal cartilage. I guess so. That's just scary, though. I didn't know whether to flush it or call 911. I mean, you got two little eyes, 4 little eyes looking at you. One was green and one was red. And I don't know how they kept their same composure because I had jalapenos the night before, so I'm sure they were screaming. It says, my son, this is really funny, super pooper. Thanks, okay, good night. Pauline said. Anyways, we love you guys and gals. Thank you for listening to the show and letting us warp your minds a little bit. Remember, when you're out there and you see a volunteer firefighter, walk up and thank them for their service. Some of the volunteers get $4 to $8 a call. They do it. The only reason they do it is because they're good people. We need to save Fort Gates. Fort Gates and save all pieces of history. There's too much of it going down the drain anymore. Not to be conflicted with the turds that wouldn't flush earlier, but there's too much of our history that is getting lost, that we can never get back, that future generations need to see, in some cases, our mistakes and where future generations hadn't taken and fixed those mistakes. They need to see that back in the 30s, there was a ferry that was running and people were helping people. And this is the way they lived back then, and they can still have that piece of history and not be lost. I want to thank Mr. Dale for all he does over there and for keeping that thing and fighting like a trooper to keep this thing up and running. Thank you, Mr. Dale. Make sure you thank a policeman when you see them, or your EMS, your first responders. But most importantly, make sure when you see a veteran, an old man with a hat on that says Vietnam vet, or anybody that was in the service, walk up and thank them for their service. Without them, our freedoms would not be possible. We would not be able to get on here and bitch or laugh and cut up. Communism sucks. Socialism sucks. The only way that makes anything great in this world is when we make America great. And that's not a Donald Trump thing. That's a thing that we should all live by, whether you're a Republican, Democrat. We need to get our nation back great again. Let's save Fort Gates Ferry. We will see you guys and gals back here on Friday night with what's pissing me off. And I don't know, maybe we'll talk about urine streams or something. Good night. We love you. I'm out. This is Kurt Portmeyer. Was struggling with my demons. What a kick butt song. Make sure you look at the advertisers that go across the screen after the show. They're the ones that make this possible. Keep everything local.
When bad intentions came to call, I firmly stood my ground. Till one day I said, screw it all, and I turned my life around. Yeah, I told my better angels they could go piss up a road, not come back unless they brought a sack of killer dope. I'm smoking packs of cigarettes and drinking quarts of beer, snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. Now everything that's bad for me becomes my comfort food, and from time to time I take a pill to elevate my mood. I'm coveting my neighbor's ass and things that I can't have. I bathe myself in misery like it's medicated sad. Since I told my better angels they could go piss up a road, not come back unless they brought a sack of killer dope. I'm smoking packs of cigarettes and drinking quarts of beer, snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. Gas to burn, I won't hit the brakes, 'cause I've still got a lot to learn from my own mistakes. I told my better angels they could go piss up a road, not come back unless they brought a sack of killer dope. I'm smoking packs of cigarettes and drinking quarts of beer, snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. Snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. It's a real nice place. I kinda like it here. I don't care what Mama said. Intervention? What are you talking about? Refrigerator.
Oh my god, I've got people everywhere.
You got people donating to take a wrench?
Oh my god, I had a ton of people on Fort Gates Ferry this time that don't normally respond. We only shared it on Fort Gates Ferry